They can eat my entire ass. The whole thing.
I feel like I almost want to put on like a tinfoil hat as to like, is somebody paying him? I want to talk about the Stop Killing Games initiative. And in case you haven't heard about it, what the Stop Killing Games initiative is, it is a suggestion for legislation in the EU for consumer rights for games. Now, why is someone doing this? The reason for this is that imagine you have a coffee maker at home. You use it daily to make coffee. Then, after about 2 or 3 years of you making coffee with your coffee maker, the electronics company from which you bought it initially says that coffee maker will no longer make coffee ever again. And you in fact never owned your coffee maker to begin with, you simply had a license for it. And if you had read the fine print, you would know that. So we are entirely in our rights to prevent your coffee maker from making coffee ever again. Because that is in fact how you own, or actually don't own, most of the multiplayer games that you have, and even some of the single player ones. So what this legislation would ask for is that after a developer is done supporting their game, that the consumer who bought the game, paid for it, should have the ability to play that game in some form or another, at the minimum. Or there should be a best effort to make that possible. Now, this sounds entirely reasonable, doesn't it? I mean, this is how you own everything else in your life. You paid for it, and now it is yours forever to do with as you please. Now, I first heard of the Stop Killing Games initiative must have been way over a year ago when the creator of the initiative, Ross Scott, was on a podcast discussing it. I was like, I did not know that in fact this already isn't the case. This is perfect that somebody is doing this. Wonderful. And then imagine my surprise when just a short while later, Pirate Software, one of the most followed and most viewed game development YouTubers, took a take on the Stop Killing Games initiative and simply said things about it that aren't true. He absolutely hated it. He said no one should support it, and he was adamantly against it, or he was against his representation of that initiative, which was incorrect. And I was listening to that video and like, what the hell is this person saying? Like, has he not read the website that he has open right there? Has he not listened to Ross's video explaining the details of what they're doing, how they're doing it? And keep in mind, Ross is educated in law. Yes, criminal law, if I'm not mistaken, but he is somewhat an expert on legislation. Thor is not. And I was completely dumbfounded as to like, how can this happen? Like, this person who is intelligent, smart, extremely prosumer most of the time, and really, really strongly encourages everyone to start making games. Like, his website about how nothing should stop you from making games is absolutely wonderful. I love it. I was shocked to hear what he had to say about Stop Killing Games because it was so toxic and it was blatantly wrong, simply against reality. Now, if you've since heard of the Stop Killing Games initiative, it's probably because lately, just the past couple of weeks, it has blown up immensely. I'm so glad that happened. And this is because Ross, who wanted to avoid internet drama, he wanted to keep things on topic, and he wanted to focus on the initiative. He finally spoke out against Thor's representation of the initiative, and he went through his video one by one and all of his streams as well as to like where and how he misrepresented the initiative and what is actually the case, what they are actually proposing and what they're actually asking for, and like what the initiative is in itself. It's not legislation, it is a suggestion to begin a conversation about consumer rights protections in the European Union. He had to do this because Thor's video completely almost killed the initiative. He himself said that signatures for the initiative died out immediately because Pirate Software is such a remarkably known YouTuber that people saw what he had to say about the initiative and they believed him. They believed his complete misrepresentation of the initiative, and he probably set back your consumer rights by a couple of decades. Now, if you're a European citizen like I am, sign the initiative right now. It is entirely for your benefit. I won't go into the details of what the initiative actually is. Ross covers that remarkably well on his website and on his YouTube as well. But you definitely should support this initiative. You have only things to gain from it. I was simply shocked when I heard what Thor had to say about this, and I completely actually stopped following his content after that, because I thought that if this person is this blatantly confident and wrong about something this important, then what else is he wrong about? I feel like I almost want to put on like a tinfoil hat as to like, is somebody paying him? Like, is somebody paying him to use his influence in the game consumer, game developer community to misrepresent this initiative? Because when Ross approached him and asked him to correct his misrepresentation of the initiative, he said, literally, he said, "They can eat my ass." I'm not kidding. That is exactly what he said.
They can eat my entire ass. The whole thing.
And not only is it's rude, but it's also remarkably idiotic to say somebody approaches you in complete good faith, asks you to simply tell the truth, and you tell them to eat your ass. This person completely misused their power against gamers, game consumers, and also game developers. Now, luckily, it seems that most of his damage has been now corrected, and signatures for the initiative have been going up, and it's almost about to pass. If you are a EU citizen, sign this initiative now, or better yet, read the initiative and then sign it. I don't know exactly what caused Thor to misrepresent this initiative so blatantly wrong, and on several occasions with like actually having the information open on his screen and still simply saying something non-factual on stream. I'm truly shocked, and I don't have an explanation for why he did that. But I'm so glad to see that things are now correcting themselves, and actually there's a chance that if this initiative turns into legislation, that all gamers in the world will soon have the right to own their games again. Thank you.